Ready or not, here I come. Here man. What?
CrowdStrike's earnings are out, and they crushed it. Just how good were CrowdStrike earnings? Let's take a look. So the stock market had a rough day today. In fact, the NASDAQ at one point was down around 2%. It closed down about 1.65%, and you can see the S&P and the Dow closed down about 1%. The VIX spiked over 7%. It's at 14.46. Now, generally speaking, when you have a red day like that, earnings are going to have to be really good, and expectations were already really high. So any little miss, especially when sentiment is down, well, this stock could have easily sold off 20%. Instead, you can see it's up 18.91%. It's trading at $353.82 after hours. Now, the 52-week high on CrowdStrike is $338.45. So at $353 after hours, we're at new all-time highs for the stock. Non-GAAP EPS, 95 cents, that beat by 13 cents. Revenue of $845.3 million, that's up 32.6% year over year and beat by $5.34 million. The ARR, annual recurring revenue, increased 34% year over year and grew to $3.44 billion. Q1 guidance, they're showing $902.2 to $905.8 million versus a consensus of $901.12 million. So this is going to be a double beat and raise. You can also see the EPS, 89 to 90 cents versus 82 cents consensus. And you can see the total for FY24 down here, also solid numbers. So is CrowdStrike still a buy at $350 a share? If you're following this channel, this was a buy $150 or less DCA. And it's been one of my favorites since we started this channel in 2019. I first bought this stock on IPO, which was also in 2019, and I've covered it through the years, through the ups and downs. The company has really grown into itself. The first thing we want to do is look at the financial metrics. Profitability, growth, valuation. Then we'll look at a chart. The earnings deck is hot off the presses here, so Q4 at a glance. Ending ARR, $3.44 billion, that's up 34% year over year. The free cash flow margin, 33%, rule of 40, 66. And customers ending with over $1 million of ARR, 580 customers, that's up 33% year over year. Some strong numbers here, and that free cash flow rule of 40 in the bottom right-hand side of your screen, 67. And this is a really good slide to show you what CrowdStrike is all about. So single agent, you got Charlotte AI on the outside here. CrowdStrike services, managed threat hunting. You've got the EDR, the data protection, exposure management, workflow and development, data layer, and so on. Now, anytime you see a slide deck from a company, you have to take these total addressable markets or TAM. You have to take it with a grain of salt. But they're showing here $100 billion in TAM. And this breaks it down. So cybersecurity, generative AI is $3 billion, and it goes all the way up to endpoint security here with $19 billion. And when you think of CrowdStrike, you think of endpoint security, but look at all the different product lines. They're continuing to build products. That net-based retention is strong, and there's a lot of cross-selling and upselling opportunity once they get into a customer. Now, this is calendar year 28. Total addressable market, CrowdStrike is telling us $225 billion. And right now, the market cap after hours is approximately $75 billion. So they're saying here that their Falcon platform is driving consolidation. So their single platform can displace a lot of the products that you see on your screen. And CrowdStrike is the leader in the 2023 Gartner Magic Quadrant for endpoint protection. You can see Microsoft, SentinelOne, and others, but CrowdStrike up here at the top. And also a leader here with Palo Alto Networks, and this is for the Forrester Wave Cloud Workload Security. I always like this slide because it gives you a really nice snapshot. So 64% of customers adopted 5 or more modules, 43% 6 or more, and 27% 7 or more. And this is showing again that there's cross-selling and upselling opportunities for that net-based retention. And cloud security is big here, 90% year-over-year growth. And you can see all the developments going on with AI. This is big for CrowdStrike. Nearly 200% growth year over year. Another great snapshot here showing growth at scale. You can pause your screen if you need to. Solid metrics here on GAAP profitability and free cash flow. We talked about retention. You can see the numbers here, 119% net retention. So the platform adoption in the middle, number 2, is really important because it shows you the different layers. So cloud deployed ending ARR, 400 million plus. Identity security, 300 million. Log scale, 150 million. And combining ending ARR, 850 million. Now, accounting is the language of business. I won't spend a lot of time on this though. I don't want to bore you, but this is powerful. So we're looking at in thousands here. This is subscription revenue. It goes Q1 FY 2023 to Q4 FY 24. You can see this number ramp up from 459 all the way to 795. This is what you want to see as an investor. This company is maturing. It's growing into a profitable company. And you can see here, this is going to be also in thousands, cash and cash equivalents. And check out the trend here from right here to right there. That's exactly what you want to see again. Now, the stock, of course, is not cheap, but if you look at some of these metrics, so we got 39% growth year over year, forward growth projected at 40%. This will be slightly higher after the beat. Now, what's interesting is this company is growing from not profitable to a profitable business that's going to have a PE ratio. But generally with SaaS, software as a service, we have recurring revenue. So we're going to look at something like EV NTM revenue, Rule of 40, and so on. I'm going to use this visual because it is powerful, and I want to give a shout out to Clouded Judgment. So if you look at CrowdStrike here, 19.6x EV NTM revenue. Now, the stock was down 5% today, and now up 18%. You can look at this and just kind of ballpark it. You're sitting around a 20x. That's not cheap. And this article just came out. CrowdStrike shares surge on earnings beat strong full year guidance. And CrowdStrike announced it'll acquire Flow Security for an undisclosed price in a cash and stock deal slated to close in the company's fiscal first quarter. So real quick, what is Flow Security all about? Announced today it's going to acquire Flow Security, the industry's first and only cloud data runtime security solution. With this acquisition, CrowdStrike is setting the standard for modern cloud security with comprehensive real-time data protection spanning endpoint and cloud environments, delivering the only cloud data protection platform that secures data in all states, both at rest and in motion. This is definitely part of why the stock is ripping after hours. And CrowdStrike's CFO also reiterated the company's focus on achieving $10 billion in ARR by 2030. The company reached $3.4 billion in ARR in January. So we're a third of the way there. We're trying to get to 10 billion by 2030. So you can look at this and say, hey, this stock is really expensive. It's already ripped. It was just under $150. Now it's $350. There's no way I would buy the stock here, right? Well, let's look at a chart and see where it could go. Obviously, valuation's one thing. Technicals are that last piece of the puzzle. I want to show you some possibilities of where it might go. So every single Wednesday in Patreon Discord, we do something that's called Chart Day. When you see orange, that's a previous chart day. Yellow is today's chart day. You're not going to see any yellow. I'm just going to talk through it. But a week or two ago, we said $277 support. Look for $330 and $348 possible. And I also said that I was going to trim some at $350. I did move that up closer to $380. And it's just a few shares. I am very long and bullish on the stock. My cost basis is around $100 a share. So this R3 is going to be about $377. And I do think that that's where it's probably headed next. It's trading at $350 now, and it certainly could see some resistance. You can see this R2 is right around $352. So CrowdStrike is trading at 351 bucks. I think the upside's probably 375, 377. Could always extend to $400, but it is pretty expensive here. If you own the stock, it's a hold. If you're looking to buy, I personally would wait for some sort of pullback, but this earnings report was very solid. Drop me a comment. Do you own CrowdStrike? Are you looking at buying it at these levels? And if this is helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that bell for notifications. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.